honestly, it was a silly dream back in 6th or 7th grade. I actually really got into rap and enjoyed, starting to create my own, raps and samples and everything else. When I learned Changes by Tupac on the piano, because I was learning classical piano for the longest time, and I really wanted to kind of change it up a little bit, and I want to learn some more modern stuff. And I really enjoyed certain rap songs at the time. And there was a composition by Bruce Hornsby, the original for Changes for Tupac and everything. And I love the composition of it because it was like a classical modern mix almost together, with Tupac rapping over that. And I was like, this is a perfect way to kind of introduce me, to figure out how this kind of all breaks down. Because I know I had the kind of classical background. Let's see when the modern is kind of thrown in. And after I learned, just how to play it, I actually was inspired to learn Tupac's lyrics and rap over it. And when I did that, it was just like, yo, this is so dope. I wonder if I could do this shit. And I started writing, or I actually started playing my own samples and then rapping over that back in 6th grade. And I did that for maybe 3 years, just for shits and giggles, dude. And I, do with rap battles at school, whatever else, all that other type of stuff. But it wasn't until my mom still kind of saw me doing that and stuff for a couple years. She said that, she had some friends in the industry and stuff. And little did I know, she had a connection to, I don't know if you ever heard of the rapper Mickey Avalon. Yeah, bro. She got me connected with him, and I did 3 songs with him, and that's where I learned everything. He taught me the basics of how to just set up everything. From a vocal standpoint, I wasn't so much focused in on the production, even though I did play some piano for the production. He had a producer and everything there, kind of doing everything. But that's how I got into it. And from there on, I just ran with it. I went to local and home studios that were around and, talked to people. They fucked with me. My homie that I even have my album now, Iago Beats, my homie Santiago. He heard one of my songs blasting my car at the mall one day. Literally just came up to my car, one of the songs I made with Mickey Avalon. He's like, is this you? And I never met this dude in my life. He just came to my car. He's like, is that you? And I was like, yeah. He's like, bro, that's fire. You should come up to my studio. It's 15, 20 minutes away. And from there on, for 2 years, I worked with him, saved up money to do my own music video and shit. And, was working with him. I found, another kind of professional, producer to work with as well to really bring the production and everything up there. And I actually did a song that I've done twice with Santiago already, revamped it again for the 3rd time, and released my first music video. My mom, had connections to, certain people that, she grew up with. One of her friends actually was in a group with the Wailers, Bob Marley and the Wailers back in the day. And so he knew a bunch of A&Rs and shit and connections and stuff. So, we sent it out to him, and he sent it out to a bunch of people. And Ruben Rodriguez from Pendulum Records over in New York hit me back, and they're like, yo, we want to meet you. And here I am. And that was the songs, bro. That was just making music. And I didn't discover that until I was in rehab, and I started, writing songs and writing, poetry and stuff, and more lyrics about personal experience and shit that I felt that I couldn't get out in rehab. I was just so frustrated and just stuck up in there. It wasn't anything that they helped me do in there made me change. It was what I discovered that helped make me change, and that was writing every day. And then bringing those collection of personal feelings and experiences and putting it into a body of work. And that's what really made that's the glue that's what set everything, because that was my way of finding a positive way to connect and honor my dad from the rest of the time, or throughout the beginning of my childhood, where I wasn't doing that. I was following in his footsteps unintentionally, trying to figure out why he did certain types of drugs and stuff, and why he wanted to feel numb, why he wanted to feel that way. And I just was going downhill. And it wasn't until I wrote about how I felt about my dad not even just being here. And I didn't even have it out on the song yet, but I wrote it out back in rehab. It was just everything just made sense to me. It's I turned the next page and that shit was gone. You know what I mean? That shit was, that was all my feelings, everything that I felt that I had to write about, and that one thought, it was there. I didn't need to do anything else with it. You know what I mean? It's on to the next song, it's on to the next thought. Because I feel I would get so caught up because I have so many things going on in my mind that I wouldn't be able to kind of put it anywhere and get all my thoughts and feelings out. And so then I'd be totally okay to kind of move on to the next page. And, so I'd stay stuck there, And it wasn't until it works for for a lot of people, you know, talking to somebody else, you know, works for people to kind of get it all off on their chest, you know what I mean? But for it didn't help like that for me. It wasn't until I physically saw all the words on the paper that I felt everything was there and everything was like, you know, settled, like the score was settled for that. And that I was cool with moving on and that I could tap in whenever I needed to, you know, back into that. And I could still feel those emotions if I needed to. But it's just like, I didn't have to keep it up here anymore. It was already in the song.